Allow 8 is receiving students and teachers. Thank you. Take your seats. Receiving students and the model class. In our last lesson, we went through looking at the characteristics of animals, and you were given a homework to complete. And I hope you all have completed the homework. For the model class, you were given worksheet to complete that homework. So I'd like you to have those worksheets in front of you. The receiving students, your exercise book, if you have done your homework in your exercise books. Now, on the monitor, as you can see, the homework is based on the 7 characteristics of living things. You have column A and column B. Column A, you have the characteristics listed down, and column B, you have the description of each of those characteristics. What you have to do is to match. These descriptions are not in their correct order. Now let's hear from one of us in class today. We did the first one as an example already. Let's go on to the second one. Alan, can you give us the answer for the second one? Respond to stimuli. Read the description of that characteristics.
How sensitive is it to its environment?
Hands up if you have that answer, receiving students and the model class. Very good. Give yourself a nice tick. That is the correct answer for that characteristics. That's the correct description. Good. Next one, Fiona, on feeding. What have you got?
Where it gets its food and what it eats.
Very good. You agree, class? Okay, receiving students, I hope you have the same one as the model class. Give yourself a tick. That is the correct description to that characteristics of living things, feeding. Let's go to movement. Movement with Christine. Christy, sorry.
Type of movement.
Very good. So that is correct. You will see living things. For human beings, we walk, we run, we can jump, and so forth. What about the frog? Does it walk? All right. So all living things have this characteristic called movement. What about excretion? Matthew?
Giving out waste.
Hands up if you got that answer. Very good. That is the correct answer. Receiving students, good on you if you have that answer as what Matthew has given to us. Respiration. Respiration. Jean?
Gas exchange.
Very good. Give yourself a tick. Whoever has got that answer, please, you are correct. Okay, last one, class. What is the last answer? Very good. Give yourself a tick, and let's see how many of you have all correct. Receiving students? Thank you. Many of you. Very good. So what can we say? These are the 7 characteristics of what? Only animals? Living things. Very good. Now, receiving teachers, we are still on the same strand and substrand, living things and nature of living things. Our learning outcome is 8.2.1, and the topic for today's lesson is structure and function of plants. Right? In your previous grade, you have learned about plants, and you are used to this word parts of the plant. Is that right? Today, we are going to use this word structure. Structure simply means parts, and function simply means what those parts do, the job of each of those parts. So we won't waste time because this is more like a revision lesson. I will have the runners to come in front. Okay, but before the runners come in front, let's see what our first and second activity instruction would be like. Right? For the receiving schools class, if you don't have your worksheet, the instructions for your activity is there on the monitor. Receiving teacher, please copy the instruction onto the white blackboard so your students can complete that activity. Let's go through A. Our activity class, let's read together. Draw and label the parts. All right. And last, second instruction. Describe the function of each of the parts. Very good. So you shouldn't be having difficulties. In our last lesson, I asked the class to bring plans, and the model class, as you can see, receiving students, I know you have your plans also in front of you. They have brought plans. So I'd like you to please hold those plans and lift them up. Okay, put the plans up, and I'd like you to look at the plans and see what you have. I hope you know the type of plant that you have brought, the name, and some of the plants are useful, are they? So I hope that you don't spoil plants or uproot a lot of good plants. Right, thank you. Put those plants down. You are going to use them for your activity now. Runners, please come up and get your worksheets for your group members. All right, the plant that you brought, you are going to draw that plant in your exercise book for receiving students. The model class you will draw on your worksheet. I want you to use a pencil to draw. Do not use a biro. Okay. So you are going to draw the plant that you have brought, and you will label each of the parts of the plant. And at the bottom, you are to describe the function of each of the plants. Please, I expect you to work fast because we have one more activity to do after these two activities. Okay, the plant that you brought, you are going to draw that plant. Okay, and you label the parts of the plant. Okay, good. You brought, what is this?
Watermelon.
Watermelon. This is a weed, is it? Yeah. But you don't know the name. Does it have flowers? Yes, good. The flowers there. So you will draw your plant. Quickly label the parts of your plant and go on to the next one. We are waiting for, or you are still thinking about your plant. You don't have a plant? So what we do, I think we just use your pen, but don't make mistake. Use your pen. We don't waste time. If you don't have a pencil, then because of time, you have to use your pen. But next time, come with a pencil. Don't make mistakes. Okay. You should be now labeling the parts. Okay. Okay, because we don't have pencils, we will use biro to write because of time. So you can't wait like this, you have to write, so you use your pen, but make sure you don't make any mistakes. Okay, I quickly draw yours now. We should be now on letter B, talking about or writing about what each of those parts do for the plant itself. What is the work of the roots? What is the work of the leaf? And so forth. Good, very good. Nice picture. Okay, now you label the parts, okay? The parts that you know. You can use your pen or your exercise book, Edge. Okay, for those of us who have finished the activity A and B, I'd like you to look at what your other group members have brought and try to study the roots of the plants and have a look at your friends, the plants that your friends have brought. That's for the students who have finished activity A and B. All right. I'm sure many of us have finished. Some of us, we cannot think further, or you are still trying your best to complete letter B activity. Everyone should now complete A, and you should be on the next activity B. All right, let's start off. Our activity A reads, draw and label the parts and structure of a plant. Looking around, many of us have done that. Let's hear from someone in the class. Lian. Okay, Lian, I'd like you to come up. I have the picture of a plant here, a typical plant. And with what you have done in labeling the parts, please come up and label the plant that I have drawn. Right? Now, let's see. Anything, looking at what she has done, do you think what she has labeled is correct? Anything wrong? Someone to come and correct her. Right? So when we talk about labeling, what must you draw? Arrows, so you know. Right now we don't know where is the stem. We don't know where the leaves are. Okay, so who would like to label them correctly? Or if you see there is a mistake there, you can correct a mistake. Right, let me label it for you. Okay, if you have roots, okay, roots should be here. Okay, so your arrow can come here, there, on this side, so long as it's where the roots are correctly labeled. Stem, leaf, flower. Okay, this is, according to my own picture, some of you may think this is a flower, but this is a dead flower. Over here, this is the one that's blooming. This one already bloomed and it's shrinking down. Okay, sorry, my picture is not too clear, but it's still okay. This is a flower, can be here or here. And what about this fruit? Okay, because my picture is not accurate, many of you may think this is a fruit. Okay. Let's put this one as the bud. I know every one of you have labeled the parts correctly. This lesson is just a revision lesson of what you have gone through in your previous grades. The common parts of the plant, a common plant. Now we go on to describing the functions of each of the parts. Can someone from where you are read what you have written for each of the parts? We'll start with the roots. You read what you have and I will record your answer here. Who is ready to give us an answer? Thank you. Graham.
Root brings nutrients from the soil to the plants.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Graham, brings nutrients from the soil for the plant. Okay, good. Any more about the roots? Yes, what's your name?
Root is to open the plant in the soil, and also it absorbs the nutrients from the soil to make its own food. Okay, I won't add the other sentence because it's already
been said by Graham. So she has one new one, which whole family the plant. Or if you have written supports the plant, then you should be at the right track. Whole family the plant. Any others? Hands up if you got your answers similar to this. Yes, I think we need to hear from one more person has something else to add on for roots. The function of the roots.
The work of the roots is it helps function the whole plant by getting its food from the soil.
All right, thank you. Good. It refers to the first answer that we have. Gets food for the plant from the soil. Okay, good. Let's have a look at what I've got for the function of roots. Okay. All right, we will go through the function of the roots when we finish all the parts. I'm sorry, let's go on to the next one. Stem. What is the function of the stem? Ella?
The stem helps the roots and to supply food to all parts of the plant.
And supply. Okay. Good. Any more functions of the stem? Come on, 80s. Let's hear from one of the students sitting at that end. What is the function of the stem?
Stem helps the root by sending up the food that is brought in.
Same as the first one. Okay, good. Anyone's got a different one apart from what we have on the board? Okay, Diana?
Stems helps the plants to balance and also it passes the nutrients up to other parts.
And supplies food plus nutrients to other parts of the plant. Okay, good. Now, hands up if you have identified the function of the leaves and the flowers. Anyone's got? We have roots and stem already written. We have the function of the flower and the bud. Okay, sorry, one more. Leaves. Hands up if you are still working on this or the two. Okay, I'm sure not all of you have completed the next activity B. Is that true, model class? Okay, for the receiving class, if you have completed that, then good on you. We will go through the functions of the parts of the plant now. Okay, let's go through the functions of each of the plants. Okay, looking up here, class, the stem, its function, it raises or raising the leaves above the soil for maximum or enough air and light for the plant so it can help the plant to grow. Okay. So that's the work of the stem. Next one, it transports water and minerals, like what you have said already, brings food, or you can say nutrients. You're not wrong, that's still okay. But here I have transport water and minerals. And the last one, raising the flower to support it when this process called pollination takes place. Okay. So without the stem, Do you think it will raise the flower up for pollination? No. The stem, one of its function is to make sure that the flower is in a better position where pollination can take place or reproduction can take place. Now let's go on to leaves. Okay, check this. Leaves, they make food for the plant in the process called photosynthesis. Without the leaves, the plant will not survive. The leaves help the plant to make its food. And that process of making food is called, class? Again, photosynthesis. All right. Next one, the function of the leaf is allow gas exchange. Right. We breathe out carbon dioxide and we breathe in oxygen. And where does that oxygen come from? Plants. Okay, so that is one function of the leaf. Right. And next one is transpiration. This is a big word. Maybe to some of us, receiving students in the model class, it's new to us. Well, your teacher will go through that after the TV lesson and explain further on transpiration. Simply means leaves losing water. Okay? And it's your homework also, model class and receiving students, to further research on what is transpiration. Next one, the buds. Okay, this is the bud. Bud is where, if you study your plant carefully, you will see little buds popping out from the stem of your plant, sides of your plant. Okay, that's new leaves are trying to develop or grow. So buds increases the heights of plants and produces new leaves and branches. Okay, so you will see on plants, buds, these are the two functions. Next one, flowers. What is the function of flowers? They assist in pollination. Another word for aid is assist. Assist in pollination and produces seeds. Now you can see for some of the plants, they produce seeds, flowers, and the flowers fall. As a result of that, you have fruit, and inside the fruit, you get seeds. Right. And last one, roots. Take up water and minerals from the soil, like what we've gone through, and help anchor the plant in the soil. Anchor, you think of a boat that's on the open sea sailing and that the boat wants to stop. What is thrown down? Anchor. So what is the purpose of throwing the anchor down? So the boat won't, go out of its position. So that's the work of the root. It anchors the plant. If you don't have roots, plants will be all over the place because no support, no anchor. Right, the last one now, last activity that you should be discussing in your groups and answering this is where in each of the plant, due to time, we will only go through this activity for homework. So I'd like you to quickly copy this instruction in your exercise book. Where in each of the plant part does growth take place faster? You give your reason, and I have given you clues there. The upper part, lower, tip, edge, center, outer, or inner. All right, class, I'm sure you have completed copying the third activity which you will be doing as homework. So today's lesson we looked at the structure of the plant and its function. Our next lesson will be on the reproductive processes in plants, and the materials needed for that lesson class, you will have to bring hibiscus flowers, tweezers, sticky tape, scalp or blade, and hand lens. Okay, so for the students, you can provide hibiscus flower. You can bring a hibiscus flower and a blade. For the teacher, you can provide tweezers, sticky tape, and hand lens. Our key word or key phrase for today's lesson class, let's all say the key phrase together. Plant parts. Okay, plant parts. With that, thank you class for participating.